Kisumu was on fire, not with chaos or violence, but with the sound of roaring chants and unstoppable energy that seemed to rise from the very soul of the city. The lakeside city, still heavy with emotions following the passing of Raila Odinga, found itself swept into a new kind of political storm. The man at the center of it all was Embakasi East Member of Parliament, Babu Owino. Just hours before, he had warned that there were plans to attack him during Raila's body viewing event. Many expected him to stay away. Others thought he would sneak in quietly, avoiding the spotlight. But Babu Owino had other plans. True to his defiant and unpredictable character, he arrived in Kisumu like a man walking into destiny, confident, unshaken, and surrounded by the unmistakable air of power. The atmosphere changed the moment his convoy sneaked its way into the city. Word spread like wildfire. Babu was in town. By the time he stepped out of the vehicle, the streets had already begun to throb with excitement. A thick crowd had gathered, and chants of Babu, Babu, Babu filled the air like thunder rolling over Lake Victoria. It was not a planned rally, it was not an official visit, yet it felt like a coronation. Men, women and youths surged forward, waving, cheering and stretching their hands just to catch a glimpse of him. His supporters had come out in full force, acting as both his escort and his shield. Some ran alongside his vehicle, others formed human walls as his motorcade crawled through the dense crowd. As Babu marched through Kisumu, his face calm but his eyes sharp, it was clear that this was more than just a welcome. It was a statement, a message to those who doubted his influence in Luo Nyanza. The same city that had for decades bowed only to Raila Odinga was now entertaining whispers of a new voice, a new generation, and perhaps a new kingpin. ODM legislators who had earlier dismissed Babu as a political showman watched the unfolding scenes with unease. The energy surrounding him was raw and unpredictable. The crowd's loyalty was loud and emotional, painting a picture of a man whose connection with the people went beyond party lines. He had spoken their language, the language of defiance, of hope, and of youth rising against the old order. Babu's walk through Kisumu became the talk of the day. Locals spoke of how he moved with a quiet authority, waving at the people with the confidence of a man who knew his worth. His security was tight, not from the police, but from hundreds of young men who flanked him on every side, their loyalty burning in their eyes. These were not just followers, they were believers in the idea that Babu Owino might just be the future voice of the region. The chants only grew louder as his car rolled past Kibuye through the city's streets and towards Kondele. Mothers cheered from balconies, boda riders honked in rhythm, and traders abandoned their stalls to join the swelling crowd. For a city mourning its heroes, Kisumu seemed, even if for a moment, to find something to smile about again, a spark of political excitement, a glimpse of continuity in the storm of uncertainty. By the time his convoy came to a stop, the crowd had become almost impossible to control. The air was thick with dust and emotion. Babu stood atop his vehicle, waving and smiling, soaking in the electric atmosphere. His arrival had been intended to be brief, but it turned out into an impromptu parade. Behind the scenes, ODM loyalists exchanged worried glances. What they had witnessed was more than a warm welcome. It was a public endorsement, a sign that Babu Owino had managed to touch a nerve within Luo politics. For years, the region's leadership had been defined by seniority and loyalty to tradition. But the scenes in Kisumu hinted at a possible shift, one where the youth were no longer just spectators, but players in the grand political chessboard. As As the day fell, the chants of Babu Babu still echoed through the streets. Kisumu had spoken loudly and clearly. The people had embraced one of their own with open arms, a man who dared to show up when others doubted him, a man whose courage and charisma have turned into a symbol of the next chapter in Luo politics. Whether this marks the beginning of a new political awakening or just another wave of excitement remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, Babu Owino's reception in Kisumu was not ordinary. It was historic, emotional, and charged with meaning. In the city that birthed legends, a new one might just be rising.
Baba, sana nito wani Kikuyo. Kama wewe unapenda Kikuyo, mbona waneka baba wacha rogi po. Babu siku zote, babu siku zombo.